Hi, my stamping friends. I'm Diane Evans with stampingwithdiane.com. I'm an independent Canadian Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the interior of British Columbia. So if this is one of your first times joining me on YouTube, thank you. Make sure that you are subscribed. By being subscribed and hitting that bell below, you'll get notified immediately as soon as I upload a video. Plus, also by going on YouTube, sometimes it's a lot clearer than it is by going through Facebook, depending on your bandwidth and everything else like that. So, I welcome you. It is Thursday night and it's my What Now series. This is a series that I started doing when people started asking me about different things, how they could use things, or they've had certain things in their studio or their craft room that they just didn't know what to do with. So I listened to an awful lot of people that have said to me what they want to have me show and that sort of stuff. And then sometimes if it's something that's retired, I haven't been going back and doing anything that's retired unless it comes back into our Stampin' Up world. So anyways, this one is a little bit different. But I want to show you something, and it kind of was inspired a bit by a card that I did just on Tuesday night for my online class. And I know I've got some of the ladies that always seem to join me on here as what they do on my online class. But what I want to do is I want to show you this grid paper. Do you know how useful this grid paper really can be in your crafting space? A lot of times, oh, hello, a lot of times, you a lot of people just use this just to basically when they're sponging they can get it all dirty and everything else, but really it's really helpful in other ways. So I'm going to show you some of those ways. Now this grid paper can be found on page 145 of the annual catalog, and it's right down here, and you get 100 sheets of this, and it's double-sided. So really, the way I look at it is 200 sheets, right? Or you could use this grid paper that's for the Stamparatus. That to me is so much smaller. It's just little pieces of grid paper. This one, I like this. It covers my workspace. I can make all kinds of messes on here, and you know, it doesn't transfer onto any other part of my desk or anything like that. The other beauty of this thing, and I want to show you, is on the other side, it's in metric. So metric is really, really helpful especially when you're watching or you're looking at somebody's YouTube or whatever, and they do it in centimeters. It's really nice to know what their card sizes are, because when it's a metric card, it's skinnier and longer. So it's kind of nice to be able to kind of visualize where that is. But I'm going to show you a couple of things that you can do with this grid paper before I show you the card that I'm going to do tonight. For any of you that are beginner stampers, and I don't really see any on here, but if you are a beginner stamper, what you can do is, if you want like a 1/2 inch or a 1/4 inch border on there, you would cut your cardstock a 1/2 inch smaller all the way around. But if you're really fussy and you can't seem to get things straight, what you can do is you can just line that up on the one side there. Just line your ruler up. A ruler, you could use a ruler. You don't even need to use a ruler. And you can just line that up like that. Get the adhesive on there. And then basically when you're going to put that on there, you're just going to layer it at the 1/4 inch there, the 1/4 inch there. Just put this at the 1/4 inch. And then you've got it where it's all centered. That is to get it so that it's basically perfect. Years ago, Stampin' Up had the neatest tool, and it was like a ruler that you could just put right onto your card, and you would just slip your card in, and it was kind of it was a really great tool. It was one of those ones, and that was when I was starting stamping. Now I basically sort of eyeball it. So anyways, on the Thursday night class, you guys notice what color green this is? Come on, you guys. It's a garden green. Anyways, on the other class, the class that we did, my free online class on Tuesday, we did a braided card. So this is just a braided card that we turned around and we did. Now, you could get a template for this, but if you can't find a template, and they're all online, You can just look them up. I will show you how you can actually make your own template. And when I first started doing braided cards, I had to do my own template. So we never had the beauty of somebody already doing up a template for us. So I always find the best way to do this is by doing it on the centimeters one. And I'm just going to show you how we're going to do this. We're going to mark this at every 2 centimeters, just like that. And this is how you're going to do a template, or I'll show you and I'll give you a link to a template. So what you do is you're going to take this down and you're going to go down 3 of those centimeters from that corner to there. Like I say, this takes a little bit more to do. And then your second one is only going to come down 2 centimeters. Then you're going to go down to your next mark and you're going to go down right through the corners there. You're going to mark that down to 3 centimeters. And this one's going to go to 2 centimeters. Now, this works really good that if you decide that what you want to do is, if you want to make this like bigger braids along here, you can do the bigger braids along there. So I'm just saying that that works really good with centimeters. And then what you would do, and I'm going to show you how it's going to work, how we're going to do a braided card. Now I'm doing a bit of a different braided card than what I did the other night. I don't need all of this pad here. 100 sheets, that's a lot. Plus I say it's double-sided, so you get 200 sheets is the way I look at it. I go through a lot of these and really they're reasonable. So reasonable. Okay, so I am going to use, what I'm using is this, excuse me, Plants About Plants. This is a suite or a bundle. Actually, it's a suite from the annual catalog. And it is, oh my goodness, I should have looked that up. Let me just quickly look that up. And who knows, is this going to retire? We don't know. We'll find out actually on the 23rd of March. So anyways, this is the suite, Bloom Where You're Planted suite. It has designer series paper, and it has the stamp and this, and it has other accessories that go along with it that you can use. We're going to use the macrame embossing folder. This designer series paper, I wish I had my swatches, and I don't know where they are. Great paper, but we're going to use some of this paper. So like I say, we're doing a braided card that's a little bit different than the way that I did it on Tuesday night. So I have not decided yet if I'm going to use garden green or not. I'm contemplating garden green or mint macaron. So what I'm using actually is this designer series paper, and it has both those colors in there. It also has evening evergreen. I just thought that was a little too dark for now. So I have a piece of designer series paper. It's 4 by 5.5. I'm probably going to use the mint macaron tonight just because that's me, but it would look really, really nice with this green. Not sure what I should do. Maybe I'll make another card with that as well. So I want to show you how we're going to do something a little bit different, like I say, than this card here, and why I'm talking about grid paper. So that's why that's going to be really important. So on the internet, there are braided card templates. So it comes in 4. You can look it up. I have no idea who did this template. Nobody took credit for it. So I feel really bad. I would love to give credit to whose ever template this is. But I don't know whose template it is. So I'm just going to take one of these templates off. And I'm just going to cut right along here. And you're going to need good paper snips. The Stampin' Up has really good paper snips. I use these only for paper. And you don't let your kids have it, that's for sure. All right, so we have this. So what I want to do, it's 4 by 5.5, 5 1/4. I want to come in with my trimmer, and I'm going to just I'm going to score this at 2 inches on the short side being the 4-inch side. Just going to score it like that. Brandy Cox has one. Yes, I know she has one, but this one was one that came as a landscape. This is how the one I got looked. I have no idea whose it is. So you could use her template. But there's, like I say, there's this one as well, and I have no ideas. All I did was I went braided card template because I thought that was easier for the class on Tuesday nights. All right, so I scored that at 2 inches. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with my template, and you could use paper clips are probably really good, but I had these really handy. These came off of my card holder. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut in like this. So if you do not have the template, you can, like I say, make your own. You can do your own width on them. This would be really neat on a scrapbook page, but I wouldn't want it this narrow. I would want it bigger. So that's why I showed you how to do that with your grid paper. All right, so I'm just going to cut down here. And when it's designer series paper, it's a little easier to go through than it is to go with the cardstock. But even with the cardstock, it's pretty easy as well. All right, almost done. And you'll see this was very quick. The ladies had quite an easy time on Tuesday night making their cards, and they were beautiful cards that they made. All right. So we're just going to put that like that. And then what you do with this is we are going to come in, and I am going to turn it this way because I want it this way. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I don't want this quite this stark. So I'm coming in with crumb cake. And I'm just going to I just want to sponge this lightly. I just want to take off that starkness of the white and see with my grid sheet, I can just do that, and we'll see it on the grid sheet, but then it works really good. Now I've used these in my classes. They're great for writing down different things that you want if you want to remember certain things too. So, all right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just coming down like this, and I'm going to I just want to see if I want to do it this way or the other way. I think I want to do it this way. So I'm just going to come down, and I'm just going to fold this straight down there. I'm going to come up to the next one, fold it down there. I say this is pretty simple and pretty quick, this type. Now, if we wanted to, this can be done in the center of your card as well. A lot of people don't realize that. There we go. So if I wanted to, I could turn around and I could put that on the center of my card like this. And that would be another really neat way of doing it. But there's so many different ways that you can do that. Now I'm just going to come in, and I just want to sponge that a little bit more. Now on this bottom one, what I'm going to do is I'm just coming and trimming that piece off. And I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to glue that right on that part right there. So let's go ahead. Hello. All right, so just like so. That. And then all we're going to do is tuck these underneath here, just like so. Like that. And then what I want to do is I want to come back, and I want to do a really good score along there, because I still want this braid to be off to the side. Like I say, I could do that right in the middle here, would be really nice in the middle, but I don't want that big of a part. Now this is where I have these two pieces. These are 4 inches by 5.5. And what I want to do is I want to put that on the front of my card. But how I'm going to use this grid paper is I'm going to come down here and I'm going to move this grid paper up. And I'm just going to put this right here. And then I'm going to come down here. And this is going to get lined right at 4 1/4. And let me just see to make sure that that's... No, this should have been at 3.5. I'm sorry. Let's go and cut that. It's 3.5. Let me just, or 3 1/4, I think. Okay, so by doing it at 3 1/4, we're going to measure this down here, the corner, right down here. And this is where this grid paper is amazing. Then I'm going to come in and I'm going to line that up right at the 4 1/4 there. Make sure it's even. And then that's going to give me a 4 1/4 and 5-inch card. 4 1/4 by 5.5-inch card. So what I'm going to do is I am coming in and I am going to now just put some glue here. Make sure again that this is lined up right to the side, right along this edge right here. Can you see that? Let me just pull that up just a bit more. So right like that. And then I'm going to put this piece at 4 1/4. Line it completely up. Like I say, then you can use this for another guide, right? So let me just put that down like that. Put that in there, line it completely up on the 4 1/4 all the way from the top to the bottom and press that part down. So there we've got that part of our card, right? So we've got that on the front and then this is going to be the center of the card. And then we're going to go ahead and do the same with the other piece. I just had that there. What was somebody saying to me today? I always seem to lose things. Oh yeah, always. So here it is here. So we're going to measure this at 3 1/2 because I over measured it or cut it wrong. And we will measure the same with this card, this side. So we're just going to measure that up. Let's go ahead and put our glue onto this part of the card. This gives a bit of a design also on the inside of the card. So do you think this stamp set and suite is going to retire? The Designer Series paper is definitely going to retire. It has Just Jade in it. So if you like Just Jade, I'm seriously saying to you that you should get it now while you can. I know the reinkers are kind of on, we're on low inventory, so that's not fun. If you've got a stamp pad and then you don't have your ink to go with it. So I'm just going to come in here, line this up at right along the bottom and 4 1/4 inches. Just like so. Line that up. And now we've got a proper size card for here. Now I'm just going to come in here and I'm just going to glue this down a little bit better just along the edge there. Now, somebody went and said to me, well, I don't really like this on the inside. I kind of like it. I think it looks kind of cool. So this is going to be an 8.5-inch card, right? By 5.5. All right. Let's just go like this. And let's make sure that this is good and folded down. So there's our card there. Now we can go ahead and decorate it with the rest of this. Now what we can do is, I have a piece of scrap here, so I'm going to show you what we're going to actually stamp. So we're just going to bring in our paper piercing mat. Yeah, so think outside the box of different things that you can actually do with an awful lot of things, because a lot of people get stuck in a rut with, thinking, well, okay, we're going to use this, our mat, just because we want to, we don't want to, if we want to stamp off, we can stamp off on it. But seriously, you can use this for measurement. You can use it to measure like ribbon. I always say for a bow is 9 inches. So if I haven't got a ruler handy, I've got my grid paper is always handy. So I'm just going to stamp this one as well. There we go. This is a distinctive stamp, so it doesn't stamp as well, or it doesn't look like it stamps as well. And then I've got a piece of cinnamon cider here. This is another color that's retiring. Oh my goodness, it's going to be sad to see this go. It's going to be sad to see Just Jade. Well, mind you, everybody I think has their favorites, right? The one I'm Misty Moonlight, not Misty Moonlight. Yeah, Misty Moonlight is one that I'm going to really miss. So let's go ahead and put this one on. I just take this off, this stamp off. And this is the pot. Now, I could have stamped this on the very vanilla, but I really like the look of the cinnamon cider on the cinnamon cider. I think it really looks like a good pot. All right, so we've got those. We also have another piece that's really good in these dies. Is the macrame thing. So I've actually gone ahead and I've cut out a few of these things ahead of time. So I can just put that in my stack and I can go ahead and cut that. Now I didn't know whether or not if I wanted to have a crumb cake macrame hanger or if I wanted a Sahara sand. I have the pot cut out and I also have those 2 plants cut out. So that'll save a bit of time while we're here. All right. So then I have these other things that are here. I went and I put this very vanilla piece, and it's actually 3 inches by 4 1/4. And I went and I put it through the Macrame 3D embossing folder. Really nice embossing folder. And I'm just going to come in with my crumb cake because I find it's too stark. Goodness, I can't even open that. And I'm just going to sponge that up and just get it a little dirty. Yeah, Misty Moonlight is one of my favorites. Let's just hope that it comes back on a color revamp, right? That and Pretty Peacock was another one that was one of my favorite colors. So there we go. We've got that. And I'm thinking, I found this on my desk, so we're going to use this. I'm thinking that I'm going to use the crumb cake. Let's see how it looks with the card base. No, I kind of want to dirty this up a bit too, just so that it doesn't seem so white. And I'll do it on the back side too. This would have looked really nice with bricks behind it too. All right, so I have this like this, and I have this. Let's see, do that. And I've got this macrame hanger, and I really think the crumb cake is better than this one. Yes, it is. And so I'm just going to load this thing up. Who remembers macrame? Actually, macrame is coming back in. I can't believe it. I love macrame. I loved doing it. It was just one of those things that was so fun to do. And of course, we all had so many hangers around, and they were kind of dust collectors too, right? But I really did like my macrame. All right, so we have that like that. I'm going to stick this up there. on the back here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a dimensional or two. So I'm just going to use these strips. So I'm just going to put that there. Let's see. I think houseplants have kind of made a comeback too, right? And then we're also going to put this one just up the front of it. Probably should have put that on before I put the... No, I'm going to just put it right in the front. It'll be okay on the front. So I probably should have put it behind the pot. Yeah, it'll be okay. All right, so let's just put that there. And now we want to put that onto there. So I'm going to dimensions on the back there as well. But before we do that, we want to make sure that we have like the macrame string, right? And no, I'm not going to tie this little string. I think it'd be great to tie a macrame knot in it, but that's not going to happen tonight. Okay, so just this linen thread really ties in really well to this. So I'm just going to actually loop that through. And I'm going to actually loop it towards the back on this tag. This tag is out of Evening Evergreen and it's from the Tailored Tags. Boy, I seem to be doing a lot of really finicky sort of stuff lately. So that's just going to actually, I'm just going to put that on the back with my tear and tape. Just like so. There. Whoops. We want that to come down just a bit. Oh dear. Oops, now it's too far. Let me put that where it's supposed to be and then I'll fix it from the back side. So I want this to go right about there. And then I'm just going to pull these strings down. Maybe I won't. There we go. And then I'm just going to cut those off. Don't want that showing from the other side. So I have this like this. And then, let's see, what else have I got here? Maybe that needs to be sponged a little bit more. So let me just do that. You know, I've forgotten the names of the knots too. And I know I just sold a whole pile of macrame stuff just before COVID in a garage sale. But you know what? I don't know if I would go back to it anyways. So we have that. So this is just going to go on here and I'm going to raise that up as well. And I think because it's the dark, I'm going to go in with my black dimensionals. There, I kind of want to, I'll put one more dimensional on there. There we go. And just take that off. Now we have to come in and do a sentiment on here as well. I'm just going to put that right about there. And now I think what I can do is I can just layer that on there. But I want to go ahead and I want to put my sentiment on. Now these have some great sentiments. Oh, you know what? I really kind of wanted to do it off to the side there. I'll show you the reason why in just a second. So I'm not sure what I should do on here. Maybe to a dear friend. A little note. What should I do on here? To a dear friend, I think is what we'll put on there. And I have this strip here. And yeah, I'm thinking, yeah. Now I'm going to use my evening evergreen for that. And I should probably come in with my paper piercing mat. We'll see if this works okay. Just like so. There we go. And I'll just cut that off. And we'll see how this looks. I may have to do something else if it doesn't quite. Yeah, that'll work good. I want it to kind of go up the side there. So now what I can do is I can make sure that these go on here really good. This just adds a bit of a different sort of look to this. So I'm just going to come in with my, I wish we had these strips of these, because I'm just going to use this strip there and one there. I could have used the big dimensionals. So let's do that. So this is just going to go right along here. It could actually go right there too, but I'm going to put it right here. I could have sponged that too. That would have looked okay too. And now I'm just going to glue that on. Just like so. Now, like I say, I could line this up and figure out exactly where I want that to go. I'm kind of eyeballing it. Just something that I usually do. And then we have a piece that's going to go on the inside. Whoops. When it gets a little sticky like that, and it is a little sticky because of what's on the side, I'm just going to come in with my embossing buddy and just, I am hoping that we get the embossing buddies again. All right, so now this piece is just going to go here. I think that should be a little bit smaller, so let me cut that down. Somebody came up with a great idea on one of my lives, and I can't wait to use that idea again. I had glue already on here, and they said to put parchment tape down below it, and I thought that was a genius idea. Ingenious. All right. So let's go ahead, and that can go right about, I'm going to put it in the middle there. Yeah, that'll work good. So to a dear friend, it could be anything that you want to put on there. This too, oh my goodness, see, I should have had that where, well, I'll have to do it inside the card, I guess, unless I come in with my silicone mat again. You know what? I'm just going to put this in here like this, just like so. And I think this should be sponged as well. Yes, it's pretty neat, the macrame. It's funny. I am a very light inker. Another friend of mine that's on here is a little bit heavier than I am. You can always tell who's inked, whether it's her or I, because when we were in classes, it's quite funny. She would go to quite a bit darker. I'm not calling your name out, but you know who you are, right? Anyways, so we're going to do it like that. Now, the beauty of that designer series paper, it has like pieces that you can turn around and you can cut out and you can do all that sort of stuff with it. So I had, because I love doing it, I went and I fussy cut a bunch of the different pots and everything else. So I had some of these still cut out, and I think what I'll do is I am going to go ahead and I am going to put that right there. And I'm not going to pop it up. I'll just put it right on there. And that'll give my decoration for the inside. Bring it down there. There we go. Just like so. This paper is really, really amazing. All right. So still have to do one more thing. And I see I got some glue that oozed out there. Okay. And we're going to embellish with the genial gems. I think they're perfect for this. The green, the mint macaron, for any of these ones here. So let's just go ahead. Let's put one there. And I think I'll just move this one over just a bit. I'm going to use all big ones. We're all good. Yeah, that'll be okay. All right. That's not really showing up there. So let me see. Yeah, we'll leave it there. I think that's where it's more even. So I hope you enjoyed that What Now series. It basically is using the grid paper. It's great for doing sponging. It's great for measuring. It's great for getting things in all, where you want it to be. I've used it for measuring. I use it for a lot of jotting down notes sometimes. But I find that it's one of those tools that doesn't get enough credit for what it is. So in any event, I hope that you do start using your grid paper a little bit more than what you've used in the past. Remember to give me the thumbs up, share my video. I really do appreciate it when you share my video. And if you haven't subscribed before, make sure that you do. And also make sure that you're a member of my Facebook group. And a big shout out to everybody that supported our fundraiser for the Red Cross. We're still collecting money for it. But we have sold, our goal was 100 tutorials between Melva and I, and we have sold over 100 and had paid for over 100 tutorials, and globally over 200. So that's really, it really warms your heart. But we're going to continue because it's only been 7 days, so you just never know. Anyways, have a great day, and I hope that you'll join me on Saturday morning, 10 o'clock Pacific time, where it'll be my card sketch. All right. Have a great day. Bye for now.